The UK had a general election yesterday, and it was the worst defeat for the Labour Party since 1935. The Conservative right-leaning party won, and the left-leaning party got absolutely crushed. I'm making this video to try to explain why it's happening, since blue checkmark media elites, the people on television, celebrities, and a lot of citizens just can't seem to be honest about it. First, let's look at this Intercept journalist who said in 2017, Jeremy Corbyn is leading the left out of the wilderness and towards power. And last night he said, There's something that the pundits are getting profoundly wrong. And instead of learning, instead of listening, instead of trying to appease voters, they just keep doubling down on this screw everybody. We hate everybody who doesn't vote for us. You're racist, you're sexist, you're xenophobic, you're Russian. The co-founder of Fusion GPS, Glenn Simpson, had the audacity to write in Guardian, Britain needs its own Mueller report on Russian interference. If you had any doubt that the Russia collusion narrative, which is long gone, had anything to do with actual collusion, instead of what it truly was, an attempt to seize back power or make the president look bad, this should pretty much prove it. Now they're saying it's in Britain. Every time we lose, it's gotta be Russia. You can see the UK general election map right here. Here's the 2016 presidential election in the United States. And the question that people can't seem to figure out is, why is the right wing rising? Why is the left wing slipping up? Even Bill Gates admitted it recently at a conference that the elites overplayed their hand, and he can't seem to figure out why people are turning inward on their own countries as opposed to the globalist agenda.
But in general, in that you have been a great beneficiary of globalization, and you have been a great sponsor of it and a defender of it. Are you worried about it at the moment?
More than I was 5 years ago, yeah. And it's not just the U.S. I mean, the UK is very interesting, and the turning inward, is it cyclical? Because you're always going to have populism come along. The elites, in some ways, will overplay their hand, and you're going to cycle. Or is it secular and it's going to stay that way? I think all of us, come to forums like this seeking insight into, what will turn this around?
When it comes to the UK, the answer is very simple. Years ago, they voted for Brexit, which was a vote to leave the EU and govern themselves instead of being governed by this European organization. And instead of actually honoring that, it's been years of running in circles. The people voted for something and they didn't get it, so they voted for Boris Johnson because they want to get what they voted for years ago. It's not that hard to figure out. In America, whether you like it or not, the election went to Donald Trump. There's this weird thing going on. It's same in California. People voted against rent control, and then the government passed rent control anyway. There seems to be this correlation on the left when people vote for something that they don't want to honor it. Seems a bit tyrannical and a bit anti-democratic, but let's get into it. People are turning inward towards their own country in the United States, UK, and many others. When the media talks about nationalism, they say racist, sexist, xenophobic, Russian, Nazi, supremacist, everybody's horrible, and I think that's why they keep losing. Instead of reaching out to the people that they claim to want the votes from, they just keep demonizing and pushing further and further against the people. Bad strategy, but also, when I think about looking inward, I don't think about racist, sexist, xenophobic. I think about a spiritual doctrine which many liberals claim to follow, which is in order to change the world, you have to change yourself. In order to change the country, you have to be able to change your city. And a lot of liberal cities lead in crime, lead in pollution, lead in the most disgusting oceans in the country, lead in homelessness and trash and medieval diseases coming back. So if you can't even change your city or make your city clean, which isn't hard to do, they could say, oh, there's too many people. You could look at Japan. Much, much cleaner, much more people, much less crime. So it is possible. But that's kind of the vibe of the US and the UK. Besides the fact that the media just constantly demonizes working people and just hates the crap out of certain people because of their gender or because of their skin color, I think to change the world, you have to change your country. And we've gotten to the point where we don't want to be ruled by these Orwellian overlords of speech regulation and globalization government. We don't want it. We want to be responsible for ourselves, our own people. And we don't want Angela Merkel, Macron, and a few elites dictating what we do in our country. I think it's very, very healthy, and I think the elites don't like it because they're losing power and control, so they use their media companies to make mass chaos and mass confusion instead of just accepting reality. And I could talk about this for hours for all of the other reasons that people are starting to lean right, but I think the big broad one is people are tired of political correctness, people are tired of speech censorship, People are tired of diversity bills coming in and anti-discrimination bills coming in, but leaving out their gender or their race or their religion, as the entire media complex can just openly hate on them for their skin color, for their religion, or for their political views, even if they fit the skin color and the gender that the media claims to like. They don't actually care about whether you're a woman or not. They don't actually care about if you have darker skin or not. They just pretend to and use that to push a political agenda of power and control. That's why when you vote for something, whether it's in the UK, the United States, or California, they don't actually honor it. And if you're a black woman, per se, that likes Donald Trump or supports Boris Johnson, you're not going to get treated well because of your skin color or gender. They just pretend to care about that stuff so they can demonize their political opponent. And if you look at it from a bird's eye view, what they really hate is people who love themselves, people who love their countries, people who love God, people who want to keep government out of their lives, whether it's a global government or whether it's a national government or a state government. People want their freedom. People want their rights. People want to be able to say what they feel. They don't want to be controlled by Theresa May, Macron, Merkel, Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton. We want freedom, and we want you to leave us alone, and we don't want to pay 50-60% taxes to the government, especially when stuff comes out like recently that the Afghanistan war was a lie, which we've all known for decades, but they're finally admitting it. The Pentagon failed its first audit, so maybe I don't want to give billions upon trillions of dollars and thousands upon thousands of my dollars to the federal government. Oh yeah, I'm such a terrible, angry, hateful person because I want to keep my own money. Isn't that such a strange concept to these people? These celebrities and these media outlets, which mostly lean left, are psychos and out of control. They're every bit as tyrannical, hateful, nasty, negative, bitter, angry, and authoritarian as the people they claim to be fighting. And everybody's tired of it, so it shouldn't be a surprise. If you're truly liberal, if you're truly a left-leaning or leftist person, the one thing that I think is lacking from the left, which I used to think was a strong point of the left, clearly not, is self-accountability and self-responsibility. There's absolutely zero, and they keep pointing the finger. Even when I fell for these left-leaning traps politically, it was never this crazy. I mean, the way people are acting, like look at Jeremy Corbyn.
Hi, I'm Jeremy Corbyn, leader of the Labour Party. My pronouns are he, him.
Even people who agree with your social agenda are starting to be creeped out by the political correctness and the censorship. Ooh, we're mad at South Park. Ooh, we're mad at Chappelle. Ooh, you didn't use my pronoun. Ooh, you hurt my feelings. It's really pathetic and weird and creepy and annoying. And as you're doing that, you're trying to take stuff away from me and demonize me based on my gender. Meanwhile, my gender has record high suicides. Our life expectancy is going backwards. We work the hardest jobs. Yeah, we get it. Women need help, but also the entire world turning against a certain race and a certain gender isn't really a winning strategy. I mean, try to go to Japan and demonize Japanese people and see how well it works you out in the general election. Go to Africa and treat Africans like you treat Americans and see if they would vote for you. I doubt they would. I doubt any sane person would. Luckily, the UK and America are two of the nicest places in the world, so people are a lot more tolerant. But unfortunately, at the ballot box, that's changing. So this is one of many reasons it's happening. Hopefully this opens your eyes to at least having a different strategy, even if you believe the things you believe politically, on how to treat people and how to not be a hypocrite and how to not have double standards, because people are tired of it. And even on the right wing, I'm starting to see a lot of these new conservative outlets act like they're fighting safe spaces and political correctness and standing up for free speech. And they're doing none of that. And we're getting tired of it too on the right, so practice what you preach. The people want freedom, the people want independence, and it's a really beautiful thing, unfortunately for Bill Gates and a lot of these other people who just can't seem to figure it out. What's going on? I just gave you a big hint, and there's a lot more to come. So God bless you, God bless your family, God bless America, God bless the world. God bless you guys. Have a good week, have a good Christmas, and a good holiday season, and I'll be back with more videos soon.